20 minutes. That is how long it took me to find $4,776 that was leaving my account every single year without my permission. Not stolen, not lost, just quietly, automatically, invisibly leaving, month after month, charge after charge, each one small enough to ignore, all of them together large enough to change everything. I did not discover this because I am particularly smart or particularly disciplined. I discovered it because one Sunday afternoon, I was bored and annoyed, and I opened my bank app, intending to check one thing, and instead I started scrolling, and scrolling, and scrolling, and I started writing numbers down on a piece of paper. And when I added those numbers up, I sat back in my chair and said something out loud that I will not repeat here because this is a family-friendly channel. My name is David, and today we are going to do something together that most people have never done in their entire adult lives. We are going to find out exactly what is leaving your account automatically every single month without a conscious decision attached to it. We are going to put a real number on the invisible drain, and then we are going to close it permanently, systematically, in about 20 minutes. But first, I need to tell you what I found that Sunday afternoon, because the specific items on my list are going to sound embarrassingly familiar, and that familiarity is exactly the point. I had Netflix, obviously, $15.49 a month. I watched it maybe twice a week, so that one felt justified. I had Hulu, $17.99 a month. I had added it during a free trial for one specific show, watched the show, and then completely forgotten to cancel. The show ended 18 months before that Sunday afternoon. I had Disney Plus at $13.99 a month, which I genuinely could not remember the last time I opened. I had Spotify at $10.99 a month, which I actually used. I had Apple Music at $10.99 a month, which I had signed up for during a phone upgrade and then never used because I already had Spotify. I was paying for two music services simultaneously. I had a meditation app called Calm at $69.99 per year, which is $5.83 a month, which I had downloaded during a period of high stress, used for about 2 weeks, and not opened in 8 months. I had a gym membership at $49.99 a month at a facility that was a 12-minute drive from my apartment. I also had a different gym membership at $24.99 a month that was closer, but I preferred the equipment at the expensive one, so I had never canceled the cheap one. I had Amazon Prime at $14.99 a month. I used this. I also had a separate subscription to Amazon Music, which came bundled with something and cost $8.99 a month, and which I had never intentionally subscribed to. I had a cloud storage subscription for $9.99 a month that I had signed up for when my phone said it was running out of space, and which I had not checked since because the warning message stopped appearing. I had a password manager at $2.99 a month that I had not used since I forgot the master password. I had a news subscription at $9.99 a month that I had signed up for to read one specific article during a free trial. I had a food tracking app at $12.99 a month that I had used for 3 weeks during a health kick. I had a VPN service at $4.99 a month that I had read I needed for security and then never configured properly. And I had a software subscription for a photo editing app at $9.99 a month that I had downloaded to edit one image for a work presentation and never opened again. When I added all of that up, the monthly total was $398.15 every single month, $4,777.80 per year, for services I had either never intentionally subscribed to, forgotten about entirely, or actively replaced with something else without canceling the original. Not a single one of these felt like a decision I had made. Each one was a ghost of a decision I had made months or years ago that was still wandering through my bank account collecting money. I want to give you the research behind why this happens to virtually everyone, because understanding the mechanism makes you much better at preventing it in the future. A 2023 study by C+R Research surveyed 2,500 American adults about their subscription spending. The average respondent estimated they spent $86 per month on subscriptions. The actual average, measured from their bank statements, was $219 per month. People were underestimating their subscription costs by 155%. Not 10%, not 20%, 155%. The gap between what people think they spend and what they actually spend on subscriptions is larger than most people spend on groceries in a week. The reason for this gap is not carelessness. It is architecture. Subscription businesses are designed by teams of behavioral economists and UX researchers whose entire job is to make the ongoing cost of a subscription as cognitively invisible as possible after the initial sign-up. Small amounts, irregular billing dates, charges that appear as unfamiliar company names on bank statements rather than the product name you recognize, annual billing that hits once and then disappears from memory, free trials that convert to paid without a reminder. All of these are deliberate design choices made by people who understand human psychology and are using that understanding to keep money moving from your account to theirs without triggering the mental alarm that a conscious spending decision would trigger. Netflix does not send you a monthly reminder that you are being charged. They send you a receipt in an email you have trained yourself to ignore because it is always the same amount, and you decided it was fine the first time you saw it. Calm does not alert you when you have not opened the app in 6 months. They quietly charge you the annual renewal and hope you are too busy to notice. The gym sends you a charge with a name like ABC Fitness LLC on your statement, rather than the gym's brand name specifically, to make it harder to identify and therefore harder to cancel. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is standard subscription business practice, documented extensively in UX design literature and confirmed by the Federal Trade Commission, which has launched multiple investigations into what they call negative option marketing. The practice of charging customers who do nothing rather than only charging customers who actively choose to continue. Let me introduce you to 3 people who all earn $4,500 a month and all have subscription spending patterns that are completely invisible to them. Natalie has been subscribing to things since her first smartphone. Over 9 years of adult life, she has accumulated subscriptions the way most people accumulate junk in a garage. Gradually, without noticing, each individual item making complete sense at the time. Her monthly subscription total, when she finally audits it, is $441. She keeps $89 worth of services she genuinely uses and values. She cancels $352 per month. Over the next 12 months, that $352 goes directly into her high-yield savings account. At the end of year 1, she has $4,224 she did not have before. She did not earn more. She did not cut anything she actually wanted. She just stopped paying for things she had forgotten she was paying for. Brandon knows he has subscriptions, but has never added them up. He estimates $60 a month. The actual total is $187 a month. He keeps $67 worth of services and cancels $120. He uses the $120 to increase his automatic savings transfer. Over 5 years, $120 a month invested at 7% annual returns is $8,600. Brandon recovers $8,600 over 5 years from one Sunday afternoon of looking at things he already knew existed, but had never quantified. Then there is Christine. Christine did the subscription audit 2 years ago after watching a video very similar to this one. She found $312 a month in subscription she did not consciously value. She canceled $267 worth and kept $45 worth. She redirected the $267 to an automatic transfer to her high-yield savings account. 2 years later, she has $6,408 in savings from that single action. She has not thought about subscription since, because she set up a system that prevents new ones from accumulating invisibly. We will talk about that system in detail later in this video because it is the part most people miss, and it is the difference between a one-time fix and a permanent solution. Same salary as Natalie and Brandon. Same discipline, just a 2-year head start on the same action. $6,408 more saved. From one afternoon, now I want to walk you through the exact process for doing your own subscription audit, because the difference between knowing you should do this and actually doing it is a specific set of steps that take the friction out of the process entirely. Step 1 takes about 8 minutes, and it is the most important part. Open your bank app and your credit card app. Go back exactly 90 days. You are looking for any charge that appears more than once with the same amount or similar amounts from the same merchant. Write every single one down. Do not try to evaluate them yet. Just list them. Dollar amount, merchant name, frequency. Everything that charged you automatically in the last 90 days. Everything. The $4.99 items and the $89 items and everything in between. The goal of step 1 is just to make the invisible visible. To take the scattered automatic charges that your brain has been filtering out as background noise and put them all in one place where you can see the total. Most people stop at their bank account. Do not stop at your bank account. Check your credit card statements too. Check your PayPal account if you have one. Check your Apple ID purchase history in your phone settings under your name and subscriptions. Check your Google Play subscriptions in your account settings. Check your Amazon account under memberships and subscriptions. Subscriptions hide in every payment method you own because they were signed up for across different moments and different devices over years. A complete audit requires checking every account, not just the most obvious one. When I did my audit, I found 3 subscriptions that were only charging my credit card, 2 that were going through my PayPal, and 1 annual charge that had hit in a different month than all the others, so I had mentally filed it separately, even though it was just another subscription. If I had only checked my bank account, I would have missed $47 a month in charges that were sitting in other payment methods entirely. Step 2 takes about 5 minutes, and it is where most people make a mistake that costs them money they did not need to spend. For every item on your list, ask one question and only one question. Have I actively used this in the last 30 days? Not do I intend to use it. Not did I use it last month. Not would I miss it theoretically. Have I actually opened it and used it in the last 30 days? If the answer is no, it goes on the cancel list. If the answer is yes, it stays. That is the entire evaluation criteria. The reason this single question matters is that subscription companies have trained you to evaluate their product based on potential future use rather than actual current use. When you think about canceling Netflix, your brain immediately generates a list of shows you have been meaning to watch. When you think about canceling the gym, your brain reminds you that you are going to start going more regularly. This is not your rational mind making a good decision. This is sunk cost fallacy and optimism bias working together in service of the subscription company's revenue. The question, have I used this in the last 30 days, cuts through all of that because it is purely factual. You either did or you did not. The answer does not require prediction or intention or future planning, just memory. If you genuinely cannot remember whether you used something in the last 30 days, that is also an answer. If a service is so peripheral to your life that you cannot recall whether you engaged with it in the past month, it is not contributing meaningfully to your life and it should be canceled. Step 3 takes about 7 minutes, and it is where the money actually gets recovered. Cancel everything on the cancel list right now. Not later today. Not this week. Right now. Every minute you delay is another day of potential auto-renewal getting closer. Most subscription cancellations can be completed in 60 to 90 seconds on the company's website or app. If you cannot find the cancellation option easily, search the company name plus cancel subscription in your browser, and the process will come up immediately. If a company makes cancellation genuinely difficult or routes you through a retention flow designed to offer you discounts and pause options, take a screenshot of every step. If they charge you after you have initiated cancellation, you have documented evidence for a chargeback dispute with your bank. There is a psychological moment that happens during step 3 that I want to prepare you for because it catches almost everyone and costs real money. When you go to cancel something, you will feel a pang of loss, even for things you have not used in months. The gym you never go to will suddenly feel like a resource you are giving up, rather than a charge you are eliminating. The streaming service you have not opened since the specific show you watched ended will feel like entertainment you are cutting, rather than $17.99 you are recovering. This feeling is not information about the value of the subscription. It is your brain's loss aversion response triggered by the framing of the cancellation screen. The company knows this feeling exists. They designed the cancellation screen to trigger it deliberately with language like, "Are you sure you want to lose access to and you will miss out on?" Do not let a design choice made by a behavioral psychologist employed by a streaming company redirect your money. Cancel it. If you genuinely miss it in 30 days, you can resubscribe in 60 seconds. In my experience, you will not miss most of it. I have canceled and reevaluated dozens of subscriptions in the years since that Sunday afternoon, and I have resubscribed to exactly 2 of them. Step 4 is the one most people skip, and it is the one that determines whether you do this again in 2 years or never have to. Set up a system that prevents new subscriptions from accumulating invisibly going forward. The system has 2 parts, and each part takes about 90 seconds to implement. Part 1 is a dedicated virtual credit card for all subscriptions. Most major banks and services like privacy.com offer virtual card numbers that you can create instantly and assign to specific merchants. You create one virtual card number that you use exclusively for subscriptions. When you want to add a new subscription, you add it to this card. When you want to audit your subscriptions, you look at one card statement and see every active subscription in one place. No more hunting across 3 bank accounts, 2 credit cards, and a PayPal account. One card, one statement, complete visibility. Part 2 is a calendar reminder on the 1st of every month, labeled Subscription Check, that takes 3 minutes. You open the virtual card statement. You look at every charge from the previous month. Any charge you do not recognize or cannot justify with actual recent use gets canceled before the next billing cycle. 3 minutes once a month. This is the difference between Christine, who did the audit 2 years ago and has not had to repeat it since, and the version of Christine who did the audit once, felt great about it, and then gradually accumulated $200 a month in invisible charges again over the following 18 months because the system that created the problem was still running. The subscription economy is growing faster than almost any other sector of consumer spending. A 2024 report by Zuora found that subscription revenue across all industries grew at 3.7 times the rate of S&P 500 revenues over the previous decade. Companies have learned that subscription revenue is more predictable, more profitable, and more defensible than one-time purchase revenue. They have invested billions of dollars in technology and behavioral research to make signing up frictionless and canceling difficult. The average American adult has somewhere between 12 and 20 active subscriptions, according to the same Zuora research, and the number grows by approximately 2 new subscriptions per adult per year. Without a system to counter this growth, the invisible drain will always come back. The monthly 3-minute check is the system. Here is the math that I want to leave you with, because this is where the numbers get genuinely uncomfortable to look at. The average subscription waste I found in my own audit was $398 a month. Studies suggest the average American has a similar gap between what they think they spend on subscriptions and what they actually spend. If the average gap is $130 a month, conservative relative to the research, and that $130 is redirected to an automatic transfer to a high-yield savings account starting at age 30, here is what happens. At 4.3% in a HYSA over 10 years, $130 a month from recovered subscription spending grows to approximately $19,400. At 7% in a basic index fund over 35 years, $130 a month grows to approximately $191,000. $191,000 from subscription services you were already paying for and not using. Not from earning more, not from investing brilliantly. From 20 minutes and a piece of paper and a willingness to ask one honest question about every automatic charge leaving your account. Natalie has $4,224 more in savings after 1 year than she had the day before the audit. Brandon is on track for $8,600 over 5 years from one afternoon. Christine has $6,408 saved over 2 years and 0 subscription waste because she set up the system that prevents it from coming back. All 3 of them started the same way. All 3 of them had the same invisible drain. The only difference was one Sunday afternoon, when they finally looked at what was actually happening. I found $4,777.80 leaving my account every year for things I had not consciously chosen to spend money on in months or years. I recovered almost all of it in 20 minutes. I built a system that has prevented it from accumulating invisibly again. And the money I recovered has been compounding in a high-yield savings account for long enough that it has already earned more in interest than it cost me in the subscriptions I canceled. The Sunday afternoon I did my audit, I was bored and mildly annoyed, and I had no idea that I was about to find nearly $5,000. The money was there the whole time. It was just invisible because I had never looked at everything in one place at the same moment. Your money is there too. 20 minutes, a piece of paper, one honest question for every automatic charge. That is the entire process. My name is David. My subscription total was $398.15 a month. I want yours to be exactly what you consciously choose it to be, not $1 more.